So apparently, the Roblox community is so fucked up right now. We actually need to talk about this. A problem far darker than we could have all imagined arose, and that problem is Spawnism. Before you click away thinking, oh great, another Roblox drama video. No, this one's actually serious. Like kids are literally hurting themselves serious. The problem is Spawnism. What the fuck is Spawnism, one might ask? And why are teenagers carving symbols into their skin for a fake Roblox god, who might I quote, is a PNG you can find on the internet by searching 30 seconds. Let's dive into that. Before we get started, I need to give you a serious content warning. This video discusses self-harm, dangerous online threats, and content that has caused real harm to minors. If you're struggling with self-harm, thoughts, or behaviors, please reach out for help. I've got resources in the description below. This video is educational and meant to raise awareness about the dangerous trend. I will not be showing graphics imagery or providing instructions on harmful activities. If you're under 18 or in a vulnerable mental state, please consider whether this content is appropriate for you right now. Also, to be clear, crystal clear, Spawnism is not real. It's based on a fictional video game lore. Any claims about respawning second lives or supernatural abilities are completely false. Do not hurt yourself or others based on anything discussed in this video. If you're here looking for Spawnism content or tutorials, this isn't that video. I'm here to explain why this trend is dangerous and needs to stop. Alright, with that said, let's get into it. Alright, so to understand this clusterfuck, we need to start with Roblox horror game called Forsaken. It's basically Dead by Daylight, but in Roblox, you know? Survivals versus killers, you know the drill. Now, in this game's lore, there's a fictional cult called the Spawn Cult that worships something called the Spawn. The cult believes that this entity will give them a second life through respawning, the key word here being fictional. Like the game's own lore literally says the cult is a hoax. The main character involved is called Two Time, a cult member who thinks they can respawn. But here's the kicker. Even in the game's story, their respawnability is fake and given by a different entity called the Spectre just to mess with them. The developers made it crystal clear this cult is bullshit even within their fictional universe. But somehow, some absolute smooth brains took this fictional video game cult and said, you know what, I believe that's real, so let's make that real. And that's where everything went to hell. Starting around July 2025, kids mostly aged 10 to 15 began forming actual Spawnism groups on Discord, TikTok, and other platforms. They started treating this Roblox lore like an actual religion, and it gets worse. Allegedly YouTube, these groups began encouraging members to do rituals and blood offerings, which is just a fancy way of saying they were telling kids to hurt themselves. We're talking about carving the Spawn symbol into their skin, sharing graphic imagery, and even rumors of more extreme self-harm. There were, hopefully there are no more, TikTok videos about blood sacrificing tutorials that were getting millions of views. Millions. Let that sink in. Look, I'm not usually one to sniff around over internet threads, but this is genuinely dangerous shit. We're talking about vulnerable teenagers being manipulated into self-harm by people who've conceived them that hurting themselves will give them superpowers or some afterlife bullshit. Like bro, you're not Shazam. The most infuriating part, the evidence is fake. It's right fucking here. The Forsaken developers have repeatedly confirmed it's fictional. The game's own story says the cult doesn't work. Hell, there are entire Discord servers and communities dedicated to debunking this crap, aka anti-Spawnism groups. But here's what makes it stick. It preys on kids who are already struggling. Depression, anxiety, feeling powerless, problems at home. Suddenly, here's this religion telling them they can have control. They can have a second chance. They just need to prove their devotion first. Sounds familiar? Because that's how literal cults operate. Like, if you want to follow a religion, go to a church. Jeez. The fact that we're actually having this conversation shows how far this has spread. There are anti-Spawnism communities, as I've talked about before, popping up everywhere. Self-safety organizations getting involved. Parents finding out their kids have been carving symbols into themselves for a Roblox character. And the worst part, some of these kids genuinely believe they're going to respawn if something happens to them. They're not edgy internet humor no more. It's actually dangerous delusion that could get someone killed. As one of my friends said, this isn't some harmless roleplay anymore. When real blood is being spilled for fake gods, we need to act. That quote is so peak. Anywho, so what do we do about this? First and foremost, if you know someone involved in this shit, get them help, real help. Parents, teachers, counselors, even the dentist, whatever. This isn't something you can handle with a simple YouTube comment. Second of all, we need to stop treating this like it's just another weird internet thing. When kids are hurting themselves, it stops being funny. Like, yes, kids being dumb is funny, but the moment they grab a pencil or some shit and start carving something on their hand, that shit becomes serious. And finally, maybe, just maybe, we need to have some conversations about how fictional content affects vulnerable people, especially when it involves themes of death, rebirth, and sacrifice. I'm not saying ban everything, but let's not pretend there aren't consequences. And I'm not saying, oh, so we should just limit. No, we shouldn't limit it. I'm saying parents should actually be parents and start parenting. That's what I'm saying. Look, Roblox has always been weird. We've had our share of strange trends and communities, but when fictional codes start causing real harm to real kids, that's where the line gets drawn. Stay safe out there, question everything, and remember, no video game god is worth bleeding for. If you or someone you know is struggling with self-harm, as I said, there are resources available in the description. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go play some more normal Roblox game where the worst thing that happens is getting called a noob. Peace. How are you in my video? Wait, sorry, I'm on that.